I'm sure many of you are wondering why the CEO of Burning Man is standing here in front of you. Well, let me tell you, you might think you know what Burning Man is all about, but maybe you don't know that we are actually a global cultural movement. You probably know that we have 75,000 people in the Black Rock Desert for 8 days. We sell nothing but coffee or ice. And we have no trash cans. I'm the CEO of the Burning Man Project, which is a $40 million budget, nonprofit, centered in San Francisco, California. We have 80 full and part-time employees. Now, you might wonder, how in the heck did you get here? Our history started in 1986 on a beach in San Francisco when a gentleman named Larry Harvey and his friend Jerry James got together with a couple of friends, built an art piece, took it to the beach, and they burned it. And there were so many people that came around and connected with them, they decided to do it again, and they did it again. And in 1992, many people showed up. And law enforcement showed up and said, "You will not burn this." And they left. And they said, "What do we do next? Where shall we go?" And they took the art piece to the Black Rock Desert. It's a large desert expanse north of Reno, Nevada. And from there, the same principles came into play again. They needed to work together in the camp at this point, where they stayed for 3 nights, help together make the shade, make food together, and it took nearly everybody in the camp to take the 3/4-ton art piece and lift it up. That was the beginning of the collaboration that began to build Burning Man. Well, why am I standing in front of you talking about transformation? Why this beach event in the desert? What is it that's transformative? In 2004, we found there were a lot of people out in the world asking questions about how they could make Burning Man happen, and we would tell them, well, you don't sell anything. Well, no trash cans. And we realized we really needed to put this sort of into a list, if you will, of things. And we call them the 10 principles. And the 10 principles are really a framework, a very important framework. It works at Burning Man, and we know that it works outside of Burning Man. And we're watching people use them in their schools, and in their businesses, and in their lives. The first one is radical inclusion. And when I say radical, I don't mean radical in some of the ways we use the word radical. I mean it to mean progressive and innovative. And radical inclusion means inviting others to the middle, to the conversation, and to the table, and listening to what they have to say. Gifting is exactly that. People ask me, is it bartering? Is it trading at Burning Man? No, it's the gifting. Gifting of yourself, gifting of your skills. We've made up a word called decommodification, which is really taking commodification and adding the opposite to it. Commodifying is a transaction, commodifying is adopting. Well, we don't want transactions. We believe in money, but we don't believe that a transaction is a way in which people become closer to each other. We believe in radical self-reliance. You need to bring everything that you're responsible for your survival. We also believe in radical self-expression. Each person has their own gifts to give. We're not just about the individual, though. It's not that self-centered. We believe that together, the individuals in the form of communal effort can do great things. Not just build art, but change the world and build businesses. Through communal effort is a really important one that I'm very fond of, which is civic responsibility. We expect all of the citizens of Burning Man to contribute in a way to the greater whole. Now, my actual personal favorite, the one that affected me the most when I first went in 1995, was Leave No Trace. Because we have no trash cans at Burning Man, that means you take everything you take goes away with you. And it only takes one Burning Man to leave your packaging behind and the water bottles behind and be more conservative in the way that you bring things. Participate is exactly that. We expect people to participate. And the last one, immediacy, for some is the most important. It means we look to take away whatever would keep you from others. We want people to engage in an immediate experience. Well, who goes to Burning Man? Many people are really surprised. 60% of the people that go to Burning Man are over the age of 30. So this is not your typical festival culture. And in the case of Black Rock City, 20% of them come from outside of the United States. So what is it? What is it about Burning Man that's causing people to feel transformed? We're taking the 10 principles and the framework, we're giving people a playful atmosphere, and in the playful atmosphere, they're feeling connected, they're engaging with each other. And believe me, engaging with other people brings about a lift in your spirit, makes you feel happy, more connected. The results of this are that people are leaving Burning Man and they're wanting to replicate the experience, they're wanting to do it again. 86% of the people say that weeks, even months afterwards, and in many cases, years and years afterwards, Burning Man has affected them. They're living outside of themselves. Now, some of you probably know that the Google Doodle was started by Larry and Sergey when they went to Burning Man in 1997. And not just Larry and Sergey, but Tony Hsieh is known for his work, for his business in the United States, for his online shoe company. And he took his principles around happiness, and he added, after his experience at Burning Man, his principles on urban design, and not only has been buying Burning Man art for downtown Las Vegas, been consulting with the organization around urban change and engagement. And it's not just those gentlemen, but Elon Musk has been going for 16 years consecutively. He hasn't missed a year, even if it's for 24 hours. And recently, we've seen the head of Airbnb and the head of Facebook also come to Burning Man. It's not just CEOs, though. We're seeing staff members, we're seeing leaders of other companies, we're also seeing teachers, we're seeing housewives, we're seeing cafe workers, we're seeing truck drivers. It's a huge variety of people that are coming to Burning Man. It's the environment and an opportunity for people to be with each other, to play in a theme camp, to play with an art project, to build the art project, to ride a bicycle across the playa and meet new people, to play a trumpet if you've never played it before, to dress as a raccoon, to engage with other people. We have art cars. It's like a float. You can make things together like cupcakes and ride around and make people laugh. So this art piece here, these little mushrooms, they're not just standing there. And you'll notice in this little short video, if you look towards the right, you'll see a gentleman in lights. And he steps off of one of the mushrooms, and he'll step on again. It's him that's making that one grow. And the other ones have had people step on them, and they slowly grow, and then they'll deflate again until the next person comes along. There's nobody behind the scenes that's making that happen. That's the participants that are making that happen. Now, that art piece wasn't just made by one person. The act of collaboration at Burning Man is not just the act of actually engaging with the art, it's the act of actually building the art together. This art piece, The Trojan Horse, 80 volunteers in Oakland, California, made the top portion of the horse. 60 of them were actually trained in new skills in order to help fabricate it. The bottom portion, the cart, the wheels are 8 feet tall. And they cajoled 300 people to put on white togas and move a 30-ton, no mistake, 30-ton horse, 1,200 feet away from the living area in order to burn it. So the group collaborated to work, to build it. They collaborated in their camp, and they got others together to help move it, to burn it. That was a deliberate part of the story. We have art that doesn't burn, and that art actually moves around the US and around the world. This piece went to the harbor in San Francisco, and then it moved to Canada, and it moved to a couple of children's festivals. One of my favorite stories, though, it's not just about art, but really is about civics. And more than 10 years ago, after the hurricane in Mississippi and Louisiana, people spontaneously went to go and try to help. The organization didn't send a representative there. We were contacted by Burning Man people that went there themselves and said, we want to find other Burning Man people, and we're going to build our camp using the Burning Man principles and the framework and the ideas around leadership. And they did. And after 6 months, when they were done, they didn't just disperse, they wanted to do it again. And they stayed in contact, and when there was an earthquake in Peru, they went back to Peru, and some of them stayed for as long as 5 years. And others went then to the Philippines, Japan, and to Haiti. This is not happening directly out of San Francisco. This is being driven by a desire of the participants to reach out beyond themselves and engage with other people out in the world. We have a growing global network. We actually have a group in Switzerland. They have a Facebook page with about 1,000 people on it. It's one of our smaller groups, but they're growing, and they're doing an event in the winter, and they're doing an event in the summer, and they playfully engage in Bern and in Zurich. And they do things like they have events and gatherings, which is where the most transformative opportunities have, is when they bring people together. The longest running one is actually since 1998 in Austin, Texas. The most recent one is in Argentina. The largest outside of our 75,000 people is 12,000 in South Africa. And the one that is growing the fastest is in Israel. Its first year, it was 3,000 people. And 2016, it was 8,000 people. So you can see, it's not quite what you thought it was. And how are we doing this? We're really setting a framework for people to think outside themselves. It's not just about the individual, it is about how you bring yourself and compare yourself and connect with other people. You step outside of yourself and imagine a world differently, you will be transformed. And if you can maintain that framework, you will engage differently in the world. So imagine how productive society would be and what our citizens would be like if they were more productive and connective and creative and engaged with each other. Imagine the innovation and the transformation of our society beyond Burning Man. Thank you.